Good evening. I think we're live. Trisha here from Everything Energetic. It's nice to be here. Give you a few minutes and see if anyone's going to join me, so I'm not talking to myself. If you missed this live and are watching the replay and you're tired of missing out on these freebies that I do, make sure you click following at the top of my page and then see first and notifications on, and then you'll get the little notification when I'm about to do a Facebook Live, and then you won't miss out, because I know a few of you have said that you're missing out. And if you're in a different country and the time zone isn't right for you, let me know. If there's enough people in a different time zone, I'm happy to do it at a different time. At the moment, 60% of my business comes from New Zealand and about 20% from Australia, so that's where my time zones are skewed towards. Hi Roxanne, nice to see you. I'm just going to carry on and we'll see if anyone else comes or not. So last week I decided that I had 3 burning questions that I wanted to ask horses, because I'm a bit of a statistics geek and I like to know these things and keep track of things. I really like spreadsheets. Sorry, I'm a geek. Oh, by the way, maybe we've got low numbers because Married at First Sight is on. So if you're here instead of watching Married at First Sight, thank you and you're welcome. And we'll see if anyone else turns up. So I'm a total geek, Melanie. I've been asking you guys what your burning questions are, and what would you like me to ask horses or animals. I'd be really interested to hear any specific cat or dog questions people have that I might be able to ask. But I decided I wanted to answer my own 3 questions. And so I posted a question on, oh, Jessie, that's terrible. You can't do both at once. She's listening to maths on her headphones. So my 3 questions. I posted a question on Facebook because I've got you guys as a captive audience. And I know you like a freebie. So it's win-win. So I posted my 3 questions and I asked people to, if they were interested, post a photo of their horse and its name, and I would ask it the 3 questions. And I asked using my pendulum. And with these 3 questions, I was a little bit unsure how many people would respond because the answers are potentially challenging for owners. But I was blown away. I was inundated with response and volunteers, and so I ended up doing the 3 questions for the first 250 horses, and then I had to stop because I was getting RSI, mostly in my neck because I was looking down at my little chart all the time. So I decided 250 was enough, and there was over 170 left that I didn't get to. So if you're watching and you didn't get your questions answered, I'm sorry. But if you are here live, tell me and I will do it live for you. So the 3 questions that I asked were, do you like being ridden? Overall, do you like being ridden? Bear in mind, they're kind of general questions, but interesting outcomes. So, do you like being ridden? Do you mind having a bit in your mouth? And do you like being a horse? That 3rd one is kind of remember, these are my burning questions. And one of my little side projects when I'm doing, in my geek mode, when I'm doing my horse communication sessions, is that I ask horses what incarnation they're on and how spiritually mature they are, because I find that really interesting and I'm keeping track of all that information. Who knows, maybe one day there'll be a book or something. So I was interested to see how many of them actually like being a horse. So the final statistics. Now, so I asked with my pendulum, using my really fancy little chart, which has got yes, no on it, because these are yes, no answers. And here's my keeping track of the answers. It's very high tech. And the final statistics were 35% of horses don't like being ridden. Only 22% of horses don't mind having a bit in their mouth. And 25% of horses don't like being a horse. I was quite surprised. Sarah, right, hold on a second. I'm going to have to write people down. Sarah, are you able to stick a photo of your horse in there? Sarah Simpson. I'll keep a track of who's asking. But yeah, all I need is a photo and her name, please, Sarah. And yes, I will do her. So I was quite surprised that 65% of horses like being ridden. I thought it would be much lower than that, to be honest. Horses aren't actually designed to be ridden. And often they're, in my experience, they're often not structurally sound for riding. So I thought that number was quite high. But at the same time, maybe my surveys slant towards those kinds of answers, because if you as a horse owner care enough to ask whether your horse likes being ridden or not, and are open to what the answer is going to be, then the chances are that your horse is probably mostly okay. It's more likely that the horses that don't like being ridden don't get any voice or opinion about it. My other thoughts about the whole riding thing were, is it because they're domesticated now? Or is it because they're habituated to being ridden? Or is it just an indication of how they feel about their rider and their owner and the bonds that they have? And obviously we would have to dig deeper to find out those answers. But overall, 65% of horses in this survey don't mind being ridden or like being ridden. When it came to the stats about wearing a bit, I was less surprised. Probably most people weren't too surprised about this one. Only 22% not minding having a bit in their mouth. Why would any sentient being like having a piece of metal in its mouth that someone routinely pulls on? I wouldn't, would you? Perhaps the biggest reason that some are okay with bits is more to do with the rider, again, you know, and how they use the reins. If you're a kind, soft rider that has good feel, your horse is more likely to be okay with it, I guess. Other reasons they might not be okay with it, mouth configuration has a lot to do with it. If you've got a horse that it's hard to find a bit to fit, if they have a small mouth or a low palate, bits can just be uncomfortable. It might just be that the rider owner has never tried different bits and found the one that is best for that horse. And this might be controversial, I don't know, but in my experience, here in New Zealand at least, I don't think when horses are started, generally speaking, much time, thought, attention is put into correctly introducing horses to bits and how to of what they mean or how they're supposed to respond to them, and so that doesn't help. the number of young green started horses I've seen that have just no idea what to do with the bit, and riders just hanging on the bit. It's pretty high. That's just my 2 cents worth. So the final question was, do you like being a horse? Hi, Talina. Oh, Nerily, if you're able to post a photo of your horse in here, I will do it for you. Nerily, I'm writing them down in case I don't manage, in case that's not possible, and then I'll do them afterwards and post them. But I do need a photo, please. So the final question, do you like being a horse? And 25% said no. Yikes. If you were one of the people that got that answer, tell me what you thought. I'd love to know what you thought, or if you were expecting that answer. Why would they not like being a horse? I'm sure you can think of reasons. Maybe they've had a lot of bad experiences, you know, in their life to date. Maybe their first experience of human handling or being started was a negative one. Maybe they don't like their job, or don't feel that their opinions are being listened to. You know, they just don't like their life, basically. And maybe, and this is kind of my little side project, maybe in a past life they were a different animal and preferred that. Again, we don't know those specifics unless we drill down a bit deeper, which I can't do in those surveys. But if you want to know more about your specific horse and why you got the answers you did, I can do a full session for you, and you can contact me about that. Oh, my cat's coming to join us. I did my own 2 horses as well, and my answers for both of them were the same. They both said yes, they liked being ridden, yes, they minded having a bit in their mouth, and yes, they liked being a horse. The first one was a little surprising because one of those horses is retired now, and very happily so. I don't think for a minute she would rather be being ridden. And the other one is only 10 and seems to prefer not being ridden. Okay, we've got a picture, so I'll do it while it's there. Nerily and Piper. And my cat's trying to help me. I don't know if you can see him or not. Do you mind not bunting me? he's bunting my pendulum arm. Oh, see there, here's his tail. Now he's going to go on my shelf and knock all the crystals off. Okay, so I didn't explain how I did this, apart from the fact that I'm using a pendulum. So I look at the picture and the name and make an energetic connection with that horse. So that's what I'm doing right now with beautiful Piper, very pretty. Okay, so now I've got my pendulum over my chart here, but sorry you can't see. And so I'm going to ask Piper, do you like being ridden? That's a yes, Nerily. And do you mind having a bit in your mouth? No, she says no. And you get a gold star. And does she like being a horse? She does. I hope that helps, Nerily. And tell me in the comments if those are you expected. Now I've got some newer information for you as well. I did a survey on a separate page that I'm on recently. This was a much smaller one because I did it live. I think I only did it for half an hour, I think. So this was for 48 horses I did in that session. Again, same thing, yes, no question with my pendulum and the photos of the horses. And I asked 2 questions. They were the top 2 questions that the people in that group wanted answers to. And so the questions were, are you happy, and are you in pain? And for that survey, only 4% of the horses weren't happy. So that's pretty cool. But a whopping 31% of them were in some sort of pain. A third of them were in some sort of pain. Now again, that could mean anything. How much pain? A little bit of pain or a lot of pain? How long have they had that pain? Is it fixable or not? Is there something we can do? Is it actually adversely affecting them? Is it affecting whether they can be ridden or not? There's a lot of supplementary questions we could ask. But to me, just the fact that 31% were in some sort of pain, that's pretty high, I think. So, welcome to my world. I love statistics. And I love that you're all my guinea pigs. Thank you. Thank you for forsaking maths. Now I'm just going to scroll up here and make sure that I didn't miss any other photos. I think that was the only other photo that we had. Yeah. So if anyone else wants to post a photo of their horse, I'll happily do those 3 questions for you live. Let me see now. I'd love to know, anyone who's watching this either now or the replay, if you did get your horse done in one of those 250, I'd love to know what you thought about your responses, or you know, was it what you expected or not? Will the answers you got cause you to change anything? Do your horse's opinions or likes and dislikes count for anything? Just asking. So if you're not sure what your answers meant, of course you can book a session with me and we can go deeper. So Mel says, I expected Chilling to not like a bit. I can't remember what answer she gave, Mel. Was it that she didn't like a bit, or she did? And Kerry thinks they were true. Her answers were true and interesting. She's not surprised. That's cool. Jessie said, can it be psychological pain? Yes, it can be, Jessie. One thing I find when I do keep asking questions, because I can rattle on until, you know, the cows come home, or at least 9 o'clock. I find when I'm doing animal communication sessions, one of the first questions I ask is whether they're in pain or not. And often, sometimes the pain is physical pain, sometimes the pain is energetic pain. It might be mental, emotional, spiritual pain. So not necessarily physical. So yeah, I delve into all of that when I'm doing sessions, and I find if it's not physical pain, if it's something else, then usually 99% of the time having their energy cleared and rebalanced gets rid of that. So that's a good question, Jessie. Let me scroll back because people are getting chattier. Anyway. I'm not sure. Let me scroll back. Neralee, if you're still there, Neralee, can you put a comment in telling people how you got your horse's photo in there? Because people want to post their photos and can't figure out how to do it. I'm just trying to see if I've missed any questions. Debbie says, how is Monty feeling about life? That's too open a question for here and now, Debbie. You're very welcome to ask any answer, and I'll do it with my pendulum. But anything else I need to do in a meditative state, which means booking a session, basically. Neralee was surprised at her answers. Oh yeah, Mel decided not to use it and uses a rope hackamore now. Cool. And Judy said, all three of mine were great answers that I expected. That's good. My daughter's pony is a unicorn. Cool. We need more unicorns. Yeah, if you've already sent the photo somewhere else, I can't access it right now. So you need to either figure out how to post it in here live tonight, or you miss out again, I'm afraid. Talina, I'm glad to hear that RB is now enjoying being ridden, and my hands must be improving if he doesn't mind a bit. That's good. It's interesting that he doesn't like being a horse. He has so much character. I think it's because he can't always communicate what he wants, and that, yeah, he's wise beyond his years, that one. Shauna's here. Hurrah! Shauna, you made it. You always miss out. I'm sure I've missed other questions, but that's all I can see at the moment. Now, so if you like the statistics like I do, and you don't already have my free PDF, I'll post a link to it in the comments here. I suppose I should try and do it right now for you. I have a free PDF that you can download. It does involve signing up to my mailing list, but there are benefits to that, so do it or else. And you get a free PDF of statistics, common statistics that I've gathered from doing horse communication sessions. So over 500 horse communication sessions, all the sort of common things that I've learned, like how many horses saddles are okay, how many horses, I'm just looking at my cat, he's curling up on my crystals up there, whether their saddles are okay, whether their diet is okay, how many are structurally sound for riding, those sorts of things. So if you're interested in stats, I'm going to paste this in the comments for you right now. Bear with me. Keep asking questions if you want to, and if you figure out how to post a photo of your horse in the comments, I will ask those questions of it tonight. Okay, I don't think we have any more photos. Something else I was going to say was, because there was so much interest, and you guys are all used to me using my pendulum now, although this is more commonly the type of pendulum that maybe you've got at home, a crystal one. I would like to know if there is interest in me running a little kind of mini masterclass on how you can use a pendulum to ask your horse questions. If you'd be interested in that, let me know, and I will be, when I decide on a date and want to publicise it or whatever, it'll be on my mailing list first, so make sure you're signed up to my mailing list. But I'm interested to know if you guys would be keen on that. Now, what else do you want to know, people? Anything? Hi, Dale. You made it as well. Oh, hang on. I'm sure I saw a question there. Does Gidget need a new saddle from Mandy? Okay, I know Gidget, so I don't need her photo. Does Gidget need a new saddle? Yes, Mandy. I get a yes. I hope that helps. Let me see if I've missed any more questions. No. And the rel hasn't told you how to post, put your photos in. Okay, if there's no more questions, we're probably done here. Anything else you want to know? Anything you want me to ask with my pendulum? Now's your chance. Otherwise, it's back to maths. No. So look out for the next freebie. I'm thinking I might do them once a week, or do a Facebook Live once a week if you're interested. Let me know if you would prefer it to be at a different time. And no more questions. So I'm going to go. Thank you for joining me. I hope that was helpful. I hope that explained how I asked those 3 questions of those horses, and some reasons around what the answers might mean for your horse. Cool, and I will see you all next time. Thank you for coming. Bye.